All right, we need to talk. We're about to go up against one of the biggest pieces of productivity advice ever. It's from that book you've definitely heard of, maybe even have on your shelf right now, Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. And look, the idea sounds simple, and honestly, it sounds pretty brilliant on the surface. Right? It's the ultimate just do it. Tackle that one horrible, ugly task first thing in the morning, and boom, the rest of your day is a walk in the park. For decades, this has been the gold standard. But if this advice is so amazing, I mean, really, why is it that when we stare down that live frog, that huge report, that dreaded phone call, we immediately run for the hills? We escape into our phones. We start cleaning out our inbox. Anything but the frog. What if the advice isn't just wrong? What if it's the very thing causing the problem? That's what I'm here to tell you. For most of us, especially in this crazy, hyper-distracted world we live in, this classic advice isn't just failing, it's actively sabotaging us. It's often the direct cause of our procrastination. So let's put this old wisdom under the microscope of modern science. Yeah, look at that number, 90%. For a staggering 9 out of 10 people, trying to force yourself to eat the frog first thing in the morning completely backfires. It triggers the very procrastination you're trying to beat. It's really a clash of two completely different eras. On one side, you have this old-school 1980s mentality of just have more willpower, grit your teeth and push through. But then you have modern neuroscience, which can actually look inside our brains and say, yeah, that's literally not how the brain is wired to work. You're picking a fight with your own biology, and spoiler alert, it's a fight you're designed to lose. To really get why this fails so spectacularly, you have to see that big, ugly task the way your brain sees it. To you, it's a project. To your brain, it's a threat. And our brains have a very, very old and very effective system for dealing with threats. Deep in your brain, you've got this little alarm system called the amygdala. Now, tens of thousands of years ago, a threat was a saber-toothed tiger. Today, a threat is a vague, overwhelming project with no clear first step. Your brain can't tell the difference. So when you stare at that frog, your amygdala fires up, and you get what scientists call an amygdala hijack. And this is exactly how that loop plays out. You see the task. Your amygdala screams threat. Now, you can't physically punch a spreadsheet, and you can't run away from writing a paper, so your brain hits the third button, freeze. You get that deer in the headlights paralysis. And then you flee to the nearest exit ramp, that quick, easy dopamine hit from your phone, which basically acts like a painkiller for your anxiety. This quote from neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman just nails it. He calls it limbic friction. See, your brain's motivation chemical, dopamine, is often naturally lower in the morning for a lot of people. Trying to tackle your hardest task, then, is exactly like trying to start a stick-shift car on a massive hill in the wrong gear. You're just going to stall, roll backwards, and feel like a total failure. And besides all that, the advice makes this one massive faulty assumption, that we're all larks or morning people. But the science is clear. About half of us are wolves or owls, meaning our brains do their best work later in the day. Forcing an owl to do their most creative, difficult work at 8 a.m. is just biologically dumb. It's like asking a fish to climb a tree. Okay, so I've just spent a bunch of time tearing down this iconic advice. So what's the alternative? We're not just going to give up on hard work. We're just going to get smarter. We're going to stop fighting our biology and start working with it. So let me introduce you to the tadpole method. The entire strategy is built on a really simple idea from physics called behavioral momentum. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion. Well, it turns out our brains work the same way. The secret isn't forcing yourself to do the hardest thing. It's just about getting into motion, period. So we are flipping the script completely. The old way was to eat one massive, overwhelming frog. The new way? We're going to eat a few easy, simple tadpoles first. We're swapping out brute force for brain science, and we're trading that one terrifying task for a series of small, guaranteed wins. So let's talk about the brain chemistry here, because this is the cool part. These little micro wins, our tadpoles, have two rules. They have to take less than 5 minutes, and they have to have a 100% chance of success. Every single time you knock one out, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine. And dopamine isn't just about feeling good. It's the chemical of motivation. You do a few of these, you build a winning streak in your brain, and you get the chemical momentum you need to finally take on something bigger. Now, what about those truly gigantic projects? The ones that feel less like a frog and more like a monster. For those, we use a little trick called the Swiss cheese method. The idea is don't try to eat the whole block of cheese. Instead, just poke a few tiny 2-minute holes in it. Open the document and write a title. Create the folder for the project. Each little hole makes the monster less intimidating, until it's not a monster anymore. It's just a bunch of small, manageable tasks. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually use this tomorrow morning? Let's turn this from an idea into a concrete, practical battle plan that you can use to replace that old, broken to-do list. So here's your new morning routine. Step 1. Before you even think about your work, audit your energy. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? Be honest. If you're a 5, and let's be real, most of us are on most days, then you move to step 2. List 3 tiny on-ramp tasks that will take you less than 10 minutes total. Then, step 3, do them. And actually take a second to grab that free dopamine and feel that little buzz of accomplishment. And I want to be crystal clear here. These on-ramp tasks can be almost ridiculously simple. Making your bed, drinking a full glass of water, wiping down the counter. The goal isn't to be productive. The goal is to build momentum. You are literally warming up your brain's motivation engine. Okay, so once your engine is warm, now it's time to work. But we're not just going to work until we collapse. We're going to use a time box. And a really effective one is 25 minutes, which you might know as a Pomodoro session. This little shift is an absolute game changer. Because here's the crucial mindset shift. Your old goal, finish the entire report, is terrifying. It's full of pressure. Your new goal is just work on the report for 25 minutes. That's it. It's achievable, it's clear, and all the pressure just melts away. It doesn't matter if you finish, it only matters that you put in the time. You're redefining success as just showing up. Look, this all boils down to a really fundamental truth. We aren't robots on an assembly line from the industrial age. We are complicated biological sacks of chemicals, and we're run by things like dopamine and cortisol. The whole eat that frog idea was perfect for that old world, but for the kind of abstract creative work we do now, it's a recipe for anxiety and burnout. So this is the new formula all laid out. Step 1, you start with the tadpoles to warm up your brain and build that chemical momentum. Step 2, for the really big stuff, you use the Swiss cheese method to break it down and make it less scary. And step 3, you focus on time boxes, not outcomes, to make sure you're making progress without all the pressure. And maybe the most important part of all of this is the feeling behind it. The old way, when you failed to eat the frog, it led to shame and feeling bad about yourself. But this new approach, it's built on working with yourself. Because, let's be honest, no one ever hated themselves into becoming a high performer. You get there by being kind to your biology while still being disciplined in your actions. So, let's make this real. Not tomorrow, not in an hour, but right now. As soon as this explainer is done, what is one 2-minute tadpole that you can do? Unsubscribe from that annoying email list, send that one-sentence text you've been putting off. What is your first micro win going to be?